that all makes so much sense. And I found myself like wanting to like tie it together. I had my whole like thoughts going crazy. I'm like, man, this is pretty good. And so yeah, I had to watch it again just to like really reaffirm all the stuff that I was seeing.
Okay. All right. Well, it kind of threw me when you sent it to me because, again, like I said, I've been feeling like this for a long time. And especially for the last month, I kept saying, I want to be a shaman. Like, but I don't know because, you know, the path is always like naturopathic or DO or some other way of healing. But then what does that come through? And literally during the quarantine, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna finish. Let me just go get a doctorate in this. And if I do it online, if it's 2 years, 3 years, because it's not like I'm not doing this anyway, you know. But and so when I watched it, one thing that stopped me is I didn't know that shamans could be like that.
Like what?
Like just so regular.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I think so. Let's chop up. Let's start the movie. It's 5:04, right? Let's talk about it from, you know, starting from the top of it when it came on. Jamel, I was happy because this is the thing of it. There was a gentleman in the movie. He was on this thing with his parents. He did not want to do these things that they wanted him to do. He was rebelling against it so much so that he got depression. Right? Is that the reason? Right. So then he got it so much so that he got depression. And then he's like, fuck it. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do any of this. I'm ready to die unless I'm trying to save my life. So then he goes and he does ayahuasca. Now, had you heard of ayahuasca before?
Yeah. Ayahuasca, my boy in Vegas told me, gave me a long like spiel. Like me and him, when I went there to teach with him, it was like whole like a kick it session. Like, and he would turn me on because he's 50, 51, and I'm 34. So it's a 7 gap, but it's two black male yoga teachers. And so he like the OG type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So he told me about his experience. He was like, yeah, nigga, you gonna see some real shit. Let me know when you're ready, and I'm gonna hook you up with my people. They gonna take care of you. You want to be in a nice place. They do it in mansions out there, and they have a couple people in there, and they do the ayahuasca. And he told me his whole like experience, like purging, but completely crying, shitting, pissing, all that kind of stuff was going on. And I was just like, yeah, that's not nothing I'm interested in, but I feel you. And he told me, and it's funny, he told me about several books and then also movies, and he told me to watch it. And when I made that post on Instagram and Facebook, man, he called me within 2 seconds. He said, sound like you ready. I was like, nah, dog, I ain't ready still. I just stumbled on this movie. I'm like, is this the movie you was telling me to watch? He was like, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's some tripped out shit. It's a reflection of your life. You get a chance to see your life in true colors. And it plays back stuff that you thought you forgot, you know, that wasn't there, and stuff that impacted you for years on top of years is right there in front of your face for you to interpret.
So this is so interesting when I always watch this kind of stuff because it seems like there's always one way that it still always goes back to the beginning of it. Right? This releasing of things. Yeah. So the people that I knew that went and they went far away or whatever, went away, they spent a bunch of money, thousands, did some ayahuasca, came back, and he told me before he left, it was one of the yoga students at the studio, at this other studio. And he goes, Lisa, I think you should go. This will be good for you. And I said, well, tell me why you say that. He said, because it's going to be easy because you do this anyway. Like, this is all, he was like, it's just a releasing. Like, you get the mindset of it. So that's what I believe, and I could be wrong, but that's what I believe ayahuasca also allows people to do, is to be themselves and to come out of it. Whereas though, you know, when we're doing yoga all the time, we're constantly like, everyday people aren't doing it. So even when people like that do, it's always different to me if I talk to a non-yoga person, or I don't know what to call, or yoga people. So yoga people have different experiences on mushrooms than non-yoga people have on mushrooms that I talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think it goes to like I think it goes deeper than doing the yoga or being into yoga. I think it's the mindset that
That
people have because they're searching.
that's what I'm saying.
They're open to it. So when you're really
Mm-hmm.
into it, you almost search for more of that in between. And when we say in between, it's that space in between the physical and the mental,
Yes.
and then that just pure consciousness, right? This little gap of where our spirit lays. And so we want to find it, but it's so much shit on the surface that's blocking it. And not many people can reach it. And so they look for aids and tools to get them there. Now, if you remember at the very beginning of this film, it said at the beginning, I'm paraphrasing here, but it said, the seeker, the person who seeks usually finds, and finds the door, that the door is right in front of them, and that the key is in their hand. The problem is that not everyone takes the time to acknowledge this key and to to unlock the door.
Mm-hmm.
Being said that all these things that they're doing are, basically bringing you back to yourself. It's not a fix. It's not like changing you. It's
Listen, the reason it works too, but no different. Listen, and I don't want to compare all things, all drugs or things to something like this because it's totally two completely different things. Don't get it twisted. I understand and I respect the process on how they make that, right? But I also know, like, if you have a drink or you drink something, it alters your mind state, right? And so you feel different in that way. And if you smoke, it alters your mindset. Now, ayahuasca, and I haven't had a real discussion with anyone about this. This is just me in my personal head, what I think. Ayahuasca, it allows you to unleash and open up and purge in a matter of 24 hours. Whereas though this cleansing process takes a long time. So, shit, how long we been cleansing and doing yoga and saying I'm doing this cleanse and I'm doing this cleanse, and you keep learning each year you feel better and better. And it seems like if you just do ayahuasca, that shit clean out your colon and clear all your energies, you face your demons, you go home. Do you see what I'm like that? And I don't know if that's what it is, but to me, because while I'm watching it, and before you say that, hey Roger, before you say that, like when I was watching it, I always tell people, now please, you need to go home and cleanse. Take some salt water or something, cleanse your colon, because that's what they're doing. They're purging, and then they're releasing, and they're opening these blockages. And what happens when you open and release blockages? You know this, meridians, your sin line. What happens? Everything opens up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I so am trying to reach that state to see if it's possible without that.
Well. I got two directions I could go with that.
Okay.
So now, the supernatural book that they're reading in the trap reading room, they hit on that. The guy, the doctor Joe Spenza, hit on something where he was able to get to that space through observing the pineal gland in the back of his head, and or is it in the front?
Right here, yeah.
Okay, so the pineal gland, he was able to get there without the aid of a plant medication. But just to go back, but before I go deeper into that,
hey Fabiola,
how do you when you say purge? So think about this. They do the ayahuasca. They purge everything out from all different directions. But the issue after all this purging is where do you stand? So tell me, what do I feel? Who am I after I'm cleansed? Who am I? So what if I cleanse myself up? Because as the guy said on there, the reason that got him there is he didn't understand what love was, what he was, what he desired to do in real life, because he's been doing everything that his parents have been telling him to, and his teachers and everybody has been telling him to. So when you clean me completely out, I'm completely clean, and I still don't know what the fuck is going on. Wouldn't you think it'd be even more lonely? It's kind of like throwing me in the middle of an ocean. It's as pure and beautiful as possible, but if I can't swim, eat, or see anybody, that's traumatic, right? That's like you clean me completely, but now what am I supposed to
do? Okay, so what are you suggesting? You have a suggestion?
Yes. So Janae,
you're talking about some. Yes.
I don't make points without having that. So the other day at the trap reading room at the end, Janae was bringing up another show that she watched on Netflix called the Goop Lab with Gwyneth
Paltrow. Yes, yeah. I've watched every episode.
Okay, so here you go. So the first episode, they did the ayahuasca.
They did. Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. They did the ayahuasca, if you recall, right?
They did.
So what happened is one of the guys got on there, and he says, I've been going through the depression and stuff like that. I went to Peru. I did the ayahuasca, and I had the whole experience. And these guys did all this stuff for me. And I had this purge. I cried and everything. And nobody explained what was going on. It was like kind of like get your shit and go. And I just went back and I just let everything go right back down to the bottom. So everything that you built up, you built this stuff up because a deep underlying is the seed.
Yes.
So seed, and you can see what the issue is, but until you deal with the shit, it's going to always follow you. So
okay, so what are you? So are you against ayahuasca? Are you for ayahuasca? Are you with? Because what it sounds like is you're with the ayahuasca with the go home plan.
Yes.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
I'm with it if needed. So I'm not like I said, you deal with anxiety, and then we know other people who deal with stress and all this stuff. I haven't dealt with any of those, and so it's like, but I have dealt with my own other issues, and those issues are like kind of like what I feel like are I guess you could say stuff that I can vocalize, and so what makes me so curious, intrigued by all these different things is what leads the person to it and what they get out of it, because I may not need that aid to get into it because I'm more vocal as far as like saying, hey, I want to learn this. I want to take a chance around this person.
Yes.
A lot of people have a lot of things that keep them from doing that. So I always talk about like how sad it is to lose parents or not have people like elders to guide you along the way. But that can also be a hindrance to people because those are the people that you feel tied to. You don't want to disappoint them on a higher level. So maybe I wouldn't go to yoga school if I had my parents around and I had grandparents around that probably would be disappointed if they knew that their kid was doing yoga school. Like, what the fuck is that? So I'm not going to do it, right? So that was a benefit for me, whereas I don't have that. I don't have these people who are here to help me. They're here to help me, but in turn, it really like hammering in and anchoring me down by the old mindsets, this old way of thinking. It's not evolved. They couldn't see it.
And that's what kept happening to him.
Yes.
Was that old mindset that he just could not handle. There's another movie when we get finished. I think it's called something I can't remember, but The Gentleman, kind of same subject way. It was some years, it might have been some years prior, but it was about the same thing, but it ends a little different because people are like, what am I supposed to do? How do I get out of this? This is all I know. And then one of my friends had actually told me, like, I was watching that and I realized that I did what I did because that's what my parents told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you have another reason for doing
it? Yeah.
And no disrespect, no shade, because you probably don't have another reason for doing it. Other than my parents really told me to do that and I was supposed to do that and I had to do that. But what is it that fulfills you? And so even at the end of the movie, I don't know if you peeped it, because his dad, if you didn't see it, but I want you to watch it anyway, guys, but his dad was such this ABC 1, 2, 3.
His mama and daddy was a doctor.
But his mom was more open.
Yes.
His mom was more open, and she wasn't on him so hard. Where though his dad was more, you better, da da da. But then he said after he came back from the trip and from doing the ayahuasca, and after his son released, it was the best conversation they had ever had in their entire lives.
Yes. 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 Because now, because he was able to see something that he normally couldn't see. Because if you pay attention to the whole thing realm of it, every intervention that he had was suggested by his parents, the same people who he fucking need the intervention for, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is their attempt to guide him into success is what like put him in his space. And then for the people who came up with all these tools and provided all this stuff, like you find the best doctors, the best psychiatrists, the best this, the best that, and in turn, it's just digging another hole. And so more important, and you asked me, do I believe in ayahuasca or not? And what I believe in is the tools. So what was even more mindful, more mind blowing for me was when they dug the hole and buried his ass for 3 days with just his nose, his mouth, and his eyes.
Listen. Okay, so let me tell you why it really got me, that part right there. And I wasn't even so much like the how long or the what, because he was a writer. Because I wouldn't have done half that shit he did.
Hell no.
I wouldn't even got out the I wouldn't even got out the car and been in like, oh no, dog, I ain't staying here. Like, no, hey, you want to go outside? Do I have some antibiotics? Because even listen, Jamel, when you go to countries, like my people, they travel a lot, right? And you be getting shit that ain't here. So or you just get shit that's not in the United States. So I've had family that had CDC call them, and they be like, "Yo, where you been?" So I don't play. Like, where we at? Oh no, I'm because the U.S. might not be able to treat. You don't know. My sister had something. The CDC called her. She was like, "The CDC just called me." I was like, "Are they coming to get you? Are they quarantined?" You know, hey baby girl, that's my daughter out here. But yeah, so his conditions, I would not have stayed in those conditions, you know, willingly, purposefully like that, because they were very humbling, which I appreciate, but I just don't know if my immune system fights off.
But that's why you take the ayahuasca. That's why the tool. So that's what I'm saying. That's what the tool is for. Because what happens is he says something about he don't know if he would have been able to go in there and accept that white man that was like telling him all this stuff. And he was a white man himself. He's like, I wouldn't have been able to accept this white man that was a drug addict, ex-con, and sitting in Peru talking about, I'm your fucking shaman, right? He said,
that was the best part of the movie.
That was the best part.
That was the best part of the movie.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know if I would have been able, because he said the academic side of my brain would have told me to get the fuck out of here because this guy can't help you, right? I would have went right back to the person who made sense. And so what that guy was doing, he was showing him by doing all those things, he's like, I'm stripping you completely butt naked.
He did.
Completely naked of your gender, your race, your name, your stature, and it's just you. And it's months on top of months. It's you and the plants. And these plants were here to keep him.
That's true, Tish. She said, but it would stay there or death. So at that point, he had nothing to lose.
Yes.
Listen here. That right there was true. And he said that. He said, if this don't work, I'm just going to stick my neck over a railroad track. Like, he was super clear.
Yes. And that's...
Heal or go home. Heal or die. That's what he wanted. Heal or die.
He went and he was going through all those type of like crazy fluctuations, man. And it drives you crazy to be by yourself. And it was cool, the fact that the guy that had all these different like things that can like, what I feel like was going on was taking down the veil of the mind. So like
Yeah.
these parts of the mind that blocks you in common sense, I'm gonna probably die from starvation. I'm gonna be caught a disease, right? It's stripping all those doubts down and make you just sit there with exactly what you're seeing. And then when he starts seeing different people, like he's like the spirit of ayahuasca, and he like, I don't know if it was a demon. He don't know what he was seeing, but this was all him. This is all him. You seeing the demons that we see. It's us. This is
So,
us.
but that's the thing, is that people need more tools. We want, and I still respect it. And I'm not saying that I don't respect it, because I do, and never in this do I want this to come across. But that's a quicker fix, an overnight fix to me. Like and it's not a bad thing to do, but it may not even fix it fully, because like you said, they do it, but then you need a treatment plan if you go home and do it. But here, if there's this constant opening and releasing and always this constant mind altering, I've been in the meditation so tough, and I know you have too. We ain't even been here, on earth. I mean, I feel like my meditation has been so intense that like, letting everything loose, and you come out like, with this just conscious mindset. And if I smoke and I meditate, that shit is fire. Like, because everything then releases and strips,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I think. That's what I think the greatest thing is on this is that it showed him the importance of being instead of this whole process of becoming and life that we're tuned with, and then also the gift of acceptance instead of judgment, which kind of gears me into the direction where I tagged you this morning about the whole Armand, I forget his last name.
Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery. Mm-hmm.
Arbery, yeah, the shooting. Mm-hmm. That kind of plays into the same realm in my opinion. I feel like the fact that people have their minds set on what stuff is and who people are, it puts a fear deep down in their hearts, and they don't even realize it. And so I've always said, and I've always been taught, it's never the person who barks the loudest that you should fear, but that you should watch out for. It's the scared motherfucker, because that's the person that'll bite, and they don't, and it's only because they don't know. These motherfuckers don't know, and they don't care to know, and so they're protecting whatever they got: ego, money, house, family, whatever. These motherfuckers protecting themselves against somebody that ain't even fucking with them. And so, and it goes down to I don't know, the foundation of it all. Whereas if you're sitting at the top of the throne, and I don't mean like kings or queens, I'm talking about like the top, meaning of the food chain. As you know, black people, we at the bottom of the food chain historically. And so that means there's no way we can say for real that we up there, because we aren't. It's a process. We got generations, years on top of years, where we got to make up for lost time, because we don't have the benefit of saying, hey, if Lisa and her son come pull up because they're mad at me, I can motherfuckers, because my grandparents been on the law, on the board for years, and they got me back. Nah, we don't get that shit, dog. They go sit us in jail for shooting each other and for shooting them. So it needs to be some type of equilibrium on that thing. So either we go,
and that's it. No, and that's because it's not balanced. And so I don't know, as far, I did a meditation this morning at 9, and it was really a lot dedicated, to that. And because, surviving, and when people's mental mind states don't change. So like you said, we're talking about the movie The Last Shaman, but really this goes back to people's mind states not changing.
Yeah.
So if this was the extreme of what that looks like, it make you check yourself on your scale, like, where are you? And what do you see, and what do you fear so bad that you would chase down, hunt, and kill, even though it did nothing to you?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what fear does to you, to be so afraid of something
Mm-hmm.
that's the extreme of it all. And but we're afraid every day, but it comes out in different vibes in different ways. So maybe it's, I'm afraid now, I ain't kill you, but I punched you, or I got smart with you, or I yelled at you, or my patience is short, or is this because I'm not confronting all
Yeah.
of these issues? You know, I wonder how he would have done, maybe, you know, had he gone to therapy or something, you know, growing up in that house, just even being able to have that voice, because he was just shushed.
Are
He
you
would,
talking about the guy from The Last Shaman?
yeah, he was just shushed the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from his parent, like,
Yeah. I feel like if he would have went to therapy, it would have been no different. Because
tell me why you said that.
the therapist that they were sending, as you saw, he said, we got the best psychiatrists, the best therapists in the world for him. So when you go to these best therapists, the people who go to college, and it's not a knock against anybody who went to college for therapy, the people who go to college, they don't have an innate ability to talk to you. It sounds like you're talking to a robot a lot of times when you're talking to somebody that's trying to help you, because they're going through a checklist, because they've been programmed the same way the rest of the fucking world has been programmed. It's those natural beings that you get blessed to come across that can help you. It's not the people who you go to. I remember when my parents were getting divorced, and my mama took us to like a psychiatrist or a therapist or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, 100%, me and all my sisters were happy as fuck they was getting divorced. So why they got us a psychiatrist, I have zero clues. Zero clues, right? But I remember going in there to the psychiatrist, and he looked just like Montel. Remember Montel show? The Montel
Yeah,
show?
do I remember my tail show? Montel Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, Montel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went in there, and the guy, he asks these questions, and it makes you close down. I remember him saying something like, when your parents, do they argue? And I was like, yeah, they argue. And he's like, how does it make you feel? Oh, I don't like it. Do you feel like crying, or do you feel like, something's going to happen? What makes you? I'm like, I don't really feel like crying. I just like kind of wanted to stop. I probably cried before. And what happened when you began to cry? And then writing and shit like that. And so now I'm like, instead of me being, I'm trying to say the shit that not gonna like make one parent or the other parent look bad. So now I'm like, no, bro, it ain't as deep as
Right.
it is. Like, just stop. Just leave it alone. And it makes you close down. Whereas if you put me in a space where, Lisa, you come in and you like, dog, my mom and daddy been married for so many years, and them motherfuckers fight every fucking night. That shit drives me crazy. I just can't stand it. And then I sit there next to you and say, man, my mom and daddy did the same shit for the longest. And when they finally got divorced, dog, we got so
Right.
we were
Right.
so happy. But you would have to be comfortable and vulnerable enough to share that with me instead of trying to make your family look perfect. So what he probably had going on is that, for one, he can't say anything to vilify his parents because they both were doctors in their field. So you can't say anything bad about them, because now you look bad with your cohorts, right?
Yes. Yes.
And,
Yes.
and then the other families, if you come from this upper class family, and everybody looks picture perfect from the surface, it's like, who the fuck am I gonna kick it with and say like,
Right.
my family tore down the walls and shit like that? What does it say?
After dealing with a traumatic event in my life, I was taken to a therapist, and it gave me anger issues because I was pissed at the dumb questions and the way they spoke to me. That's what you just said.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know,
Thank you, Carolyn.
and you know why it angered you, right? It's because those people who sit in those positions, like it or not, when they have these suits on, they have these titles, they have all these letters past their name, it makes it feel like you're being judged immediately, because I'm sitting here on your chair, I'm sitting here in your room, paying you to tell me what's wrong with me. And you don't even understand where I came from. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about what I go through. You don't know what part will make me mad. Not the fact that my parents are divorced. I don't give a fuck at this point in my life if my mom and dad are together forever. If they don't get along, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't, man.
Yeah.
So what's more important is that I feel like people are empathetic. And I haven't been. That was I think 2 or 3 times we went to a session, and that was when I was about 9 or 10 years old. Now, have I sat in any type of like therapy?
Have you done therapy since then?
Nah, I never done it, so I can't really judge it based on like and say how.
She said, my mom did the same thing. The therapist asked me to draw a picture of my family on this blank page. I saw right through that bullshit. I was the only.
Come on, we ain't crazy. You ain't gonna make no breakthrough on us. Tell us to draw your damn picture and think that. Look, you know what they thought she was doing? That you know what they was praying she was gonna do?
What?
Make an angry face and put fire all over the place and say, "This is my mom and this is my dad and this is me when all this is going on." Right?
Okay, so wait. Okay, so let me give a flip side to it, okay? Because these are different routes to healing. She said, I was 17. I will never go back. All they want to do was push medication.
All they want to do is medication. Now, that goes, I got a bunch of these films I've been watching. Now, that goes into, it's called Just Peel or
yes.
Peel, something like that. And that's exactly and it's another one by this girl on that was doing yoga. And she found yoga to be her cure instead of medications.
Okay, so let me play both sides of this, okay? And I love this because we do this, right?
Yeah.
So I was also the kid whose parents got divorced. And like y'all, I was happy. I mean, same thing. My parents argue all the time, so I didn't care. They didn't send me to therapy, though. There was no real conversation. You know, it's just like, here, we going over your mama. You stay with your mama? Okay, it wasn't bad. We discussed it, but no therapy. But I did grow up in a very vocal and open house. That means that my mother, we talked about, she wanted to talk about everything. We did not, but she was very, so are you okay? When sex came up, she brought a therapist to the house to discuss sex with us. So in my family, it's always been something that's been like, all right, okay? I did go to therapy before. It was fucked up. And then I had an amazing experience after that. So I think therapy is also like a relationship. You know, you have to figure out.
That's good. Go ahead.
The right person, you know, because my mom told me before I went, like, if it doesn't feel right, Lise, you don't have to stay. And the first couple times I went, I got really weird people. And I got this one really weird guy. And that's what he did to me. Exactly like, well, this and this, we'll sit down, take this medication. And I was like, dog, you got me fucked up. Like, so I left. But then I found somebody. I found someone and I went to her like almost every week for a year. And that's right. She's the one that brought about massage school. So I think that if you find the proper people and who are caring, you know, like us, like we care about our work. Now, is it some bad yoga teachers? Yeah, but I think if you find the right therapist, the one that's caring and the one that's right for you, who cares about their field and your health, and it could be a different experience.
I'm glad you said that. Now, because that ties into like how the movie, he was searching for the different shamans, and you remember the first one he met, that dude full blown died. It was a dude died next to him. Then that same guy later on in the movie we had moved to the next spot, opening up a home center where he about to train people how to do this. And he's just forgetting that like 2 months ago
somebody just died
right in front of you, bro. And he said, well, you know, I told him he shouldn't take it because he had issues, and he insisted on it. Of course I'm going to insist on it if I feel like I've read and did this research and it's going to save me and I'm in this dark space. So you tell me you have no other tools than this pill or this plant or this drug?
So no, and I don't think they do at that point, which is why I love the movie because it really, really showed me what I already felt I knew anyway. Meaning that this whole mindfulness path is like daily. So like him doing this, he was drinking this stuff for like 40 days, 100
Yeah.
and some days. How many days was it?
100. It was 120 days.
So he's drinking this stuff 120 days, reshaping, repattering, redoing that. But what if 120 days, you do yoga every day, you eat right, you exercise, you meditate every day.
Oh, it's 3 months.
3 months. Okay. You meditate every day, begin to clean out your colon and just see where that goes. You feel me?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. I feel like a shaman is not the shaman that the guy
Mm-hmm.
where the people died. He was clearly in it for the financial gain, and I feel like I align the shaman, that type of shaman, with the therapist who automatically gives you medication, right, and asks you the same set of questions.
Yeah.
Where I felt like the other guys, they were listeners. They were intuitive healers. So they were able to, they were able to look at you and look at the man and say, okay, because you're still on these type of medications, I'm gonna let you wean off of them first, and then put you on a plant diet, and then I'm gonna put you in an isolated space where you're stuck with yourself, because I'm here as a guide for you to heal yourself, not a drug distributor for you to to cleanse you or kill any type of demon. And so I feel like this guy was able to look at all the different fluctuations and insert himself as he saw fit, instead of just saying, hey, this is what the script says, stick to it. Every person is the same, because every person is not the same. We not depressed over the same shit. It just doesn't work like that.
No.
And how can the same antidote work?
Right. She said I started watching it last night. Finish it, Drea. Yeah, and let me know. It's a really good it's a good fit, and it's a good movie for what that was. But again, it made me feel more that this daily path on how we living is how we're supposed to be living. Because through this, it is this constant opening, it's this constant cleansing, and we tell people you're not supposed to hold on to those things. Like, and it's even just these, these heart openers. So much of that helps to free this. So, and I've said this to people before. Like, I don't want to do ayahuasca. Because I have heard that if you deal with like some other deep, anxiety or something, or even like mushrooms, it can trip off. But then too, like, I'm okay right now. I think I can get there with some, I'm going to try it with some yoga and some weed and meditation.
Yeah. And I like that. I like all of it. I like to know everything though. Like, not that I need to know everything because I just want to be this brainiac, but I want to be curious to what different avenues that people can take and need to take in order to find the ultimate liberation. Because that's what people are searching for. They're looking for this pure bliss, right? Pure bliss. No matter what you call it, no matter what culture you go through, you're in, you're trying to find this space. And so what I found interesting to tie the Goop Lab thing is that how the lady at the beginning of that first episode, she said that people in these indigenous countries, like Peru or wherever else where you can take it at, they do it as a spiritual thing, and the way to ground themselves, or no, to heal. And they find it weird that Americans are coming over there to do it, like willingly, like we want to do this. And what she said is that it's because in America, we have nothing but material to hold ourselves onto. So we're searching for some type of way to reach that spirit being inside of us, because we don't have that stuff going on.
Jamel, dog, like, I want to rewind that shit you said and play that back, because that's exactly what it is. We're holding on and we're clutching. And when they put him in that dirt, that's also like that rebirth. I think they called it a rebirth or something. So whether you want to say, take it back to Jesus Christ, or 3 days, or Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Easter, whatever you want to call it, it's the dirt and it's the earth. You know,
Yeah.
so whatever that is, and even as far as your root chakra, you know, that's the safety and security. That's the rooted and the grounded. And even now, what color is your hoodie?
Red.
Yeah, and that's the color of it. It's like it's red, like the root chakra, like it roots and it grounds you. And
Whoa.
so the or orange, sacral chakra, we keep it moving too. But like the dirt to it, so much of it. And I practice like hoodoo work and stuff, but a lot of that is like the dirt and the roots. So that shit is powerful. So for him to be buried, and she said Black Panther did the same thing. Sure did. Remember when they buried him and he came out of the earth? It's like the earth cleanses you and brings you up. So if you don't feel safe, secure, rooted, grounded, out of control, go lay on the dirt, man. Like get in the land. Get in the land, in the dirt.
Yeah, reconnect. Yeah, I look at all that kind of stuff with an open mind now, and that's what I say. I don't want to say I don't need anything. I just haven't. I find more into like. I found it very interesting how in the beginning of the doc he said he wasn't looking for the spirit. I laughed immediately because we are spirit. We are spirit. Yeah, he didn't want to call it that. That's what I mean. He didn't want to call it that. It's like, just like, people, religious people, super religious people, they don't want to speak about anything besides the Holy Ghost. They don't want to, it's almost like saying the name of certain things is taboo. Like they're afraid to say certain things, to see certain things, and to try certain things because they feel like the demon is going to take over them. When it's like, how can anything take over you if you're deeply rooted in your faith? So you should be happy to be able to explore yourself and this spirit being, whatever you want to call it.
But no, Jamel, people are very, very afraid of it. And that's why a lot of work that I do, people are scared, because this is the part though, is when you open, if you're not rooted and you're not grounded, then that can leave something to come inside that you don't like because you're not rooted and grounded. So that's what's even more powerful about these movies, is that they cleanse them and then they put them back in the dirt. Because that way you can't pray, because the mind and the spirit goes crazy when you're not comfortable, in that thing like that. And that's what I tell people when I say we do cleanses. You keep different tools with you, you sage, but you have to root. And when you're done, like, so I walk out, I'll put my hands on the ground or put my hands on the earth.
Yes.
To get it, to release that.
Yeah. Yes.